Vienna is one of the most romantic cities in the world. It's beautiful and charming, but it has a dark side. It even has a road called Blood Alley, one of the oldest streets in the city. Locals know to avoid this street at night, for they say the apparitions of those murdered along this street roam the cobblestones in the dark. Hungarian House is one of the most famous places in the city, for it was the home of one of the most prolific female serial killers in history. While this house might not necessarily be haunted, the story is crazy. Countess Elizabeth Báthory killed over 600 women, pouring their blood into the bath and even drinking it in order to stay young. Elizabeth Báthory was born on a family estate in Nyírbátor, Royal Hungary in 1560 or 1561, the daughter of Baron George VI Báthory and Baroness Anna Báthory. She descended from multiple noble lineages and included the King of Poland and the Prince of Transylvania among her relatives. Said bloodline was also one of generational inbreeding. Her parents were close relations, as was often the case with such marriages. It is thought that this may have been the source of a number of health problems that Elizabeth experienced as a child. She suffered from severe epileptic seizures that led to an array of pseudo-quackery cures that inspired many of the most insidious stories about the Báthory vampire legend. Because so little about Báthory's childhood can be proven with hard evidence, this is the period of her life where most of the speculation about the origins of her evil is centered. One favorite conspiracy is that her seizures were treated by rubbing the blood of a non-sufferer onto her lips or using a piece of their skull, thus igniting her insatiable bloodthirst. Another theory posited that she was trained by her family to be cruel, taught witchcraft, and exposed to satanic worship. There's no evidence to support any of this. What we do know is that she was raised in luxury and a level of privilege denied to the vast majority of Hungarian citizens. At the age of 10, Elizabeth was betrothed to Ferenc Nadasdy, a nobleman and heir to one of the wealthiest dynasties in the region, although he was technically of lower social standing than his wife-to-be. They married when she was 15 and he was 19, and Ferenc took the surname Báthory. Nadasdy's wedding gift to Báthory was his household, Castle of Sejd, located on the lower end of the Carpathian Mountains. Only a few years after the wedding, Ferenc was promoted to the chief commander of Hungarian troops and sent to war against the Ottoman Empire. Elizabeth was left behind to manage the family estate, defend her husband's affairs, and tend to the local people. Between 1602 and 1604, the rumors about Báthory's crimes became impossible for the authorities to ignore. Lutheran minister István Magyari made complaints against her, both publicly and at the court in Vienna, but it took until 1610 for King Matthias II to assign two notaries, András Kereszteri and Moses Ziricki, to collect evidence on the myriad charges made against her. Hundreds of testimonies were collected and what they revealed stunned the notaries. Girls as young as 10 were said to have been abducted by Báthory, beaten severely, and mutilated before freezing or starving to death. Some girls were allegedly burned with hot tongs. Others had parts of their faces bitten off. The most common motif of the Elizabeth Báthory legend is that she would bathe in the blood of her victims as a way to retain her legendary beauty and youth. It's a striking image and one that has endured longer than the truth of Báthory's life and crimes. It's also probably not true. Indeed, such stories didn't become part of her lore until she'd been dead for over a century.